Disney loves to reference their own movies and put in Easter eggs of characters like Mickey Mouse, but there are many times when the writers get clever with pop culture references outside the realm of Disney. See how Disney hid these pop culture references in some of your favorites, like Ralph Breaks the Internet, Moana, The Incredibles, and Toy Story 4. The classic go-to excuse. You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses. In the world of Disney, we see this moment in Wreck-It Ralph, when King Candy poses the question to Ralph.
You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses, would you?
Ralph instantly punches his glasses, smashing them into pieces. The moment in the Disney flick was not only a classic trope in film and television, but it was almost word for word based on the 1989 Batman scene. In the scene, Joker is the one delivering the glasses line, and Batman is the one who delivers the instant punch. There aren't too many big budget franchises Disney hasn't gotten their hands on, and Mission Impossible remains pretty stable over there at Paramount Pictures. In the very first Mission Impossible flick, as Cruise descends into a highly guarded office, the slack on his rope comes loose, and Cruise comes about an inch from hitting the ground. While in Toy Story 3, Woody found himself in a very similar situation when escaping Sunnyside Daycare the first time. As Woody freefalled to the ground, his pull string got caught in a tree, putting him in the exact same position as Ethan Hunt. Thankfully, he didn't tear his precious toy body into pieces with the fall. If it feels like Samuel L. Jackson is in everything, that's because, well, he is, and he was a natural for the role of Frozone in the Pixar animated movie The Incredibles. Knowing Jackson was taking on the role, the animators and writers couldn't help but reference one of Jackson's past movies, Die Hard with a Vengeance. In The Incredibles, a police officer confronts Mr. Incredible and Frozone. Frozone insists on getting a cup of water, despite the officer pointing a gun at him. In Die Hard with a Vengeance, the cup of water is replaced with a ringing phone, and he's forced to answer it even though the young cop is aiming his gun right at him. Thankfully, both situations turned out a-okay. When it comes to Indiana Jones, there are numerous iconic scenes movies have paid homage to. As Indiana escapes a booby-trapped temple in Raiders of the Lost Ark, a large stone door slowly shuts. At the last moment, Jones snags up his hat and was able to retrieve his precious item. Well, this scene has been used a countless number of times over the years, including in Disney's Tangled. When a massive flood is unleashed, Flynn makes the decision to grab Rapunzel's precious pan just before the waters overtake the two. The moment was swift and smooth, just like Harrison Ford as one of the most beloved action heroes. Duke Kaboom was a great new addition to the cast of characters in the Toy Story franchise. Not only did the Keanu Reeves voice character bring his own story and funny moments, but he got to pay homage to two classic movies. The first movie comes during his big jump at the carnival. As Duke flies through the crowd, his silhouette appears over the moon. Just like a famous space alien we simply call E.T. And then during the mid-credit sequence, Duke Kaboom gets to say the line that we were all waiting for. Whoa! Reeves' signature line has been used in everything from The Matrix to Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, so it's only fitting that the actor brought it back for his voiceover role. Disney loves to entertain parents with jokes that fly right over a child's head, but no one expected a meth lab Breaking Bad joke in Zootopia, but that's exactly what we got. As Judy and Nick investigate the mysterious source of the Night Howler, we see how the substance is made, and it looks an awfully lot similar to the crystal meth featured in the Bryan Cranston show. To drive the point home even further, Doug had two other workers arrive at the end of the scene. Their names, Walter and Jesse. In Ralph Breaks the Internet, the ultimate goal for the character is to earn enough money to purchase a new steering wheel for the broken Sugar Rush arcade game. While he does this through a series of viral videos, he's not only making money, but entertaining the masses, especially some bored office workers. And if the whole cubicle lifestyle and boredom feels familiar, it's because it was based off of the characters and atmosphere featured in the movie Office Space. If you look closely on some of the desks, there are papers with TPS report written on the top. With John Travolta voicing the title character in the Disney animated film Bolt, you would expect some callbacks to Grease or Saturday Night Fever, but the film took a much different route. When Bolt first encounters Mittens, he wants to find answers about his owner Penny, and does it the only way he knows how, by hanging her body over a fast-moving freeway. Well, if you look closely, you may spot one of the most iconic buses in pop culture history We're talking about the bus from Speed. Infamously known for having bus number 2525, you can spot the roof of the bus as Mittens hangs overhead. So while Bolt is out saving the world, there may be a bus with a bomb on it that explodes unless it continues to speed through the city. The Rock's role as Maui wasn't his first animated part in a movie. Not only did we see Dwayne Johnson's trademark raised eyebrow, but there was a funny moment that was pulled right from Johnson's other movie, Journey to the Mysterious Island. In the film, Johnson shows off his peck pop of love as a way to impress the ladies. Well, Maui is able to do the same thing, playing around with his animated tattoos in the process. So yeah, even in animated films, The Rock is able to show off his impressive physical prowess. Zootopia really packed on the pop culture references, spanning modern-day shoutouts to movies like Frozen, all the way back to a nice little nod to The Godfather. The pop culture reference to the Mafia classic was pretty on the nose. The Arctic Shrew character Mr. Big is clearly based off of Vito from The Godfather. The original Jurassic Park was filled with iconic visual shots movies have borrowed over the years. The T-Rex chase scene, where we see the massive dino in the rearview mirror with the clever text gag reading "Objects are closer than they appear." This great visual was also used in Toy Story 2 during the toy store scene. After Rex falls out of the vehicle, he chases them back down, and we see him trying to desperately catching up through the small rearview mirror with the same message. The opening musical number in Beauty and the Beast is a perfect way to introduce our lead character, showcase the time they live in, and just how odd the citizens perceive her to be for reading books. While the opening features plenty of original moments and a great way to showcase Gaston early on, the movie definitely drew from some similar Disney inspiration. For the introduction to Ichabod Crane in the adventures of Ichabod Crane and Mr. Toad, the citizens also sing about him as he presses his nose into a book and reads as he travels through the town village. One of the main differences? Crane steals a pie and eats it along the way, something Belle would never do. Out of all the movies in the history of Hollywood, there seems to be one Pixar references more than any other: Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. One of the first Pixar Shining references came in the original Toy Story back in 1995. As Woody and Buzz Lightyear try to find a way to escape Sid's house, the hallway carpet may look eerily similar. That's because the pattern on the carpet was the exact same one found in Overlook Hotel. Yeah, something none of us want in our homes anytime soon. The Shining references continue on through other Toy Story films, along with other Pixar movies as well. If you thought the carpet pattern in The Shining was scary, well, watching Jack chop down the bathroom door with an axe really takes the cake. After opening a hole in the door, he pulls a page from the good old Johnny Carson playbook, declaring, "Here's Johnny," before making his way in. The intense and chaotic nature of the scene has made it an all-time classic, and the producers of Finding Nemo could not help but create a homage to the scene using a great white shark. After Bruce sniffs blood, a chase begins and Marlin just barely escapes with Dory. As Bruce tries to break down a large steel door, he manages to bust open one side and proclaims, "Here's Brucey," with the iconic half face showing. Yeah, sorry Jack, but a great white shark using the same line is somewhat scarier than the horror classic. There's nothing like a great training montage in the world of movies. Hercules literally showcased what these montages are supposed to do, but the training was not all about force. During one moment, we see Hercules, Phil, and his Pegasus all balanced and perched among some large stumps, while the training scene and active meditation comes directly from the classic film, The Karate Kid. The mental game is just as important as the physical one, and this training exercise proves that. The futuristic world of Wall-E had a lot of options to play with when it came to referencing science fiction movies and books. Naturally, one of the biggest references in the movie was taken directly from 2001, A Space Odyssey. In the classic science fiction film, astronauts must deal with the overbearing and controlling robot known as HAL 9000. Figure out the Wall-E connection yet? Well, it's Autopilot, the red light computer antagonist featured in the movie. Much like HAL 9000, Autopilot wanted to control the humans and prevent them from ever returning to Earth. Even though it's pretty much a direct copy as opposed to a nice homage, the use of Autopilot really works in Wall-E and fits the plot of the movie. While a majority of eagle-eyed viewers were focused on Rapunzel making an appearance in Frozen and somehow connecting everything to Tarzan and Anna and Elsa's dead parents, some fans probably noticed a very familiar dance the Duke of Weselton performs in the movie. Turns out the dance is a move-for-move recreation of the chicken dance in Arrested Development. Specifically, the dance is based off of Lindsay's rendition, which oddly enough does not look like a chicken at all. Arrested Development may not have had the ratings Fox desired, but the show manages a lot of Hollywood references. Mulan is one of Disney's most action-packed animated movies, and there's nothing like drawing some inspiration from another action-packed movie to deliver one of the best lines. During the climactic battle in the movie, Mushu lands in the fireworks hut to commandeer some explosives. When one of the people manning the fireworks asks Mushu who he is, he replies with, "Your worst nightmare." The line and response is taken nearly word for word from the classic Sylvester Stallone action movie Rambo 3. Both moments work great, and it's not just an awesome homage, but one of Mushu's best parts of the movie, where he showcases some true terror despite being an itty-bitty dragon. Timon and Pumbaa practically stole the show in The Lion King. Not only did they get some of the biggest laughs, but they were memorable enough to warrant their own animated television series, countless pieces of merchandise, and the sequel, Lion King 1.5, which focused on their character journeys. Pumbaa shouldn't get all the credit for his lines though. There was an epic moment where he pays homage to other movies with quotes. Mixing both Taxi Driver and In the Heat of the Night together, Pumbaa declares himself Mr. Pig to the attacking hyenas. We're pretty used to seeing toys come alive in the world of Toy Story, but back in 1995, things were pretty different. Throughout the whole first movie, we wondered if any humans would ever catch the toys coming alive, and then Woody himself hatched a plan to make the big reveal to Sid himself. In the scene, Woody does a lot more than just tell Sid to play nice. He spins his head in a full 360-degree circle, taking a page right out of The Exorcist. While Toy Story didn't quite have the same reaction as the horror classic, we imagine a lot of parents worried about their children spinning toy heads around and then breaking them. Cars 3 featured the return of Lightning McQueen, but we also saw a bunch of new racers in the mix. Among the high-speed cars were Cal Weathers and Bobby Swift. When separate, the names might not seem like much, but if you put the names Cal and Bobby together, then it may conjure up memories of a comedy classic. Yep, the characters Cal and Bobby were named after the lead characters in Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby. So about 5 to 10 years after your children see the Cars franchise, go ahead and show them some Talladega Nights for more car racing movie options. And now let's go back to the beginning of the Cars franchise to showcase a classic movie reference plucked into the film. In Cars, one of the big plot points comes when Lightning McQueen is forced to repave the road he destroyed. The punishment is given to him from Doc Hudson, voiced by the late Paul Newman. While recording his lines, all of the paving material must have sounded familiar. The reason? The movie Cool Hand Luke featured Paul Newman's character paving a road. You have to wonder if the connection was purposely done or just a big coincidence after the fact. We already covered how Indiana Jones grabbing his hat at the last second is one of the more iconic movie moments, but there's another. In Raiders of the Lost Ark, Jones must outrun a giant rolling boulder as he goes through the temple. We've seen parodies of this more times than we can count, but Toy Story presented it in a more subtle way than the other movies. In the scene where Woody plans to knock Buzz behind a dresser, Buzz gets chased down by a magic 8-ball. As the 8-ball rolls down on him, the shot is very similar to Jones outrunning the boulder, only this time, Buzz gets knocked out of the second-story window, not having the same luck as Indy. No one can deliver a line quite like Will Smith. From Men in Black to Men in Black 3 and Aladdin, Smith has had many signature lines over the years. One of the more memorable ones was from Independence Day, when he gets to fly the alien ship. Why say the line when Smith can say it for us?
I have got to get me one of these!
There it is. So classic, and Disney pulled off the same exact line but with no alien spaceships involved. In the movie Tangled, Flynn Rider has to stop a group of incoming guards, and his only defense is Rapunzel's pan. After successfully fighting off each guard one by one, Flynn excitedly delivers the line, and voice actor Zachary Levi did a pretty great job of living up to Smith's iconic quote. In the world of Big Hero 6, we are introduced to all types of new technology, especially when Hero and his buddies attend the science fair. As Hero begins his presentation, a quick cutaway shows a man trying on a piece of equipment over his head. If the equipment looks familiar, then you may have gone back to the future. The device is a shout out to Doc Emmett Brown and the invention he's working on when Marty goes back in time and meets up with them. There's nothing like a good old Back to the Future reference, and this one may have been small, but worth checking out and appreciating for the extra detail they added to the movie. Wow, it's nice to see Disney branch out and celebrate other sectors of pop culture other than their own. What one was the most surprising? Your favorite among the bunch? Any great ones we missed? Well, don't be shy. Scroll on down to the comments section, let us know how you feel and tell us everything. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to ScreenRant for more great Disney content.